Welcome to What's the 411, guys. Oh my gosh, it's the beginning of May, May 1st. Okay, it's been raining. And so you know that that means that we are about to get some good weather. It's coming, guys. It's coming like next week, maybe the week after. May 2-4 weekend is coming up too. So definitely know that weather is coming. So welcome to What's the 411. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Happy new month. And I'm excited to get this conversation started. So let me introduce our guest of honor today, Miss Rare the Creative. Just talk to us, tell us who you are, what you do. Let us know all about you, girl.
Hi, y'all. It's your girl Rare, Miss One of a Kind, so divine and hard to find goddess. Goddamn. And I'm happy to be here. These rainy days don't get you down because I think it's April showers bring May flowers. We want all the flowers and we want to give everyone else their flowers as well during this season. So tell your mama you love her. All right.
Yes, April showers do bring in the Mayflowers, so we're banking on it, right? We're banking on that.
Yeah,
So
for
talk to
sure.
us about your journey, girl. Let talk to us first of all about your name. Where did you come up with this name?
Okay, so I always had my IG as Rare, and I never really understood why or what it was for. But through my life, I had a near death experience that kind of made me realize that I was one of a kind and I am hard to find and I am so divine to be blessed and safe and healthy and to wake up each day with the energy and strength to keep creating. And I'm a Toronto born and raised creative. So I grew up in Central Etobicoke in public housing, and I understood and learned about the struggles throughout life. I was always been a hustler in my area, from bake sales to shoveling snow to newspaper routes. The newspaper route is actually how I bought my first camera and entered the creative field. So yeah, but even before that, actually, I was always the family photographer with the Kodak. And yeah, I took all the photos and I fell in love with using a camera ever since then. And then as I grew older in my teens, that's when I did the newspaper route and bought my first like little point and shoot Nikon power shot. If you guys know those ones, it was like really like a flat little brick, a little square. And I was working it. You feel me? I was working it. People like, can you shoot my birthday? I'm like, with this? Okay, I'm here for it. So through that whole process, I was able to, branch out into the photography field, find my niche, find my love for it, and continue to dive into it. Um, yeah, photography's always been a passion, and that's where I stem as a creative. And then I dove into kind of sharing my poetry that I used to cope from bullying. I grew up in like white, primarily dominated white schools. They're well funded, so I learned a lot of creative skills while being there, but I faced a lot of racism at the same time, where I was kind of shunned for my Black culture, and whining wasn't a thing. Talking about Caribana wasn't a thing. I had to try to like normalize myself in their type of eyes and kind of shrink myself. I'd say I was felt like I didn't want to express myself. I became very shy and introverted. And then as I started writing my poetry to kind of cope with that, I kept it inside and I kept it in my home and I never shared it with anyone. But as time went on, I started to like branch out. I started to actually, it took me a little while to even spit my poetry. Someone actually had to be like, Rare, you need to go up on that stage and spit your poems. I was like, me? Not me. And they're like, no, girl, you know what? They made me a deal. They're like, I will pay you $50 for 5 minutes. I was like, that would, in back in the days, that would have been the fastest money I ever made. Okay. For the minimum amount of time I ever done. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like a deal. I picked a couple poems, I practiced them, and they took us out to, it was underneath an organization called the Film Star Project. So that was my absolute first performance, first time getting out there. And I had a mentor named Chuck, and he's from I think the Jane area. But yeah, Film Star Project was created around that area too. And he was like, yeah, I see the potential in you. So we got up on the stage. They took us out to Brampton. I think it was Brampton City Center Mall. It's like a venue, like a display hall. Rose Theater. I think it's called something like that. Yeah, something like that in Brampton. Anywho, took us out there. It was a beautiful venue. I was like, and then in my head, I'm just like, okay, this is it. Let's go. I spit my poems, I go on stage, I express myself, and I was like, took a deep breath and clapping and cheering, and oh my God, amazing. I was like, people like my poems. And from there, a seed was planted. And I decided that one day I will share the poetry that I wrote in middle school and high school and my current age and everything to help other people's awaken themselves and find purpose and be able to, crack that little nut in the shell. Sometimes you got that hard outside and you're almost shaking it out, but you just need to like bust it. Something like that. But yeah, that's a little bit about my intro. I don't want to chat up your too long because I can't. But yeah.
So how old were you when you went on stage there at the Rose Theater?
I think I was maybe 19 or 20. I was just hitting my 20s around that point. And the Film Star Project actually was teaching us film. So the steps and skills of filmmaking for marginalized youth is how I tapped into them. And I was learning all about film. I was learning all about visuals and cameras and lighting and script writing and all the shabam about the film industry. And yeah, that kind of just opened my eyes to how many opportunities there really are, especially being like a Black woman from a small community. I would have never thought people are out here making money on the film set. There's really Netflix Canada out here. So yeah, I was super grateful to be connected. And they kind of took me out of like a depressive state that I was in beforehand. So while I was dealing with mental health and kind of like a quarter century crisis or even just finding myself, I found peace in creativity at the Film Star Project.
Wow. So yeah, self-expression is huge. It's so important to be able to express yourself. And you're right, there's a lot of people with stories to tell, and they do have that hard outside shell, and once you do crack it, you realize that they definitely have a lot to pour out to others. For real.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But you said you had a near-death experience. Talk to us about that a little bit. Tell us, if you're willing to share, like what that was all about.
So basically, my book, Rare's World, is a creation of healing through trauma, healing through these experiences, and trying to find self. It's poetry around myself as a Black woman growing up and living in Toronto. We always have our ups and downs experiences. And yeah, this one was one of the most critical experiences I've had till this day. Actually, nah. A couple of weeks ago, I was actually in a fire. yeah, sorry. Forgot about that for a second. But yeah, we call it, so basically the incidents I go through, it's called, in the social work or mental health world, it's called compartmentalization. So when things that shock your mind to a point where it stops you in your progress, you bring it into the back of your subconscious or the back of your mind, and you're able to just put it away as you continue to build on top of your life. So through the first experience, that one right there was very crushing. And that's what brought me into my depressive kind of state and trying to, work through the barriers, I'd say, lots of barriers. We're also able to overcome those circumstances as well, using mental health techniques and self-care. And yeah, so I'm definitely a really big self-care advocate, because without taking the self-care techniques and methods into account, I wouldn't want to keep creating. So poetry was a way of dealing with these crises and these traumatic incidents and turning it into art and putting my words into the book and expressing myself in that way. And then the most recent incident is actually, I live in a townhouse complex, and my neighbor, basically the roofs are all connected for the townhouses, and my neighbor fell asleep with a cigarette in his hand, and his mattress caught on fire, and then the roof caught on fire, and then our roof almost caught on fire, and the whole building had to evacuate. And I was at such another shocked state that I started to kind of slow down in my brain processing. Also because I intaked a lot of smoke. So I recently have been just recovering with using an inhaler and kind of just clearing my throat with like fresh air and a lot of water and things like that. I'm still going through like tests as we speak, actually. But for now, I think I'm fine. But yeah, been through a lot, going through a lot. Keep going, keep swimming, all the things.
My gosh, wow. Well, we're definitely happy to have you here with us to share because it is real. That is real. Life does have its ups and downs, and it's definitely important to be able to actually express yourself. So that's huge. But talk to us about the book. Give us a little bit more about the book. Like, where can we find it, and when did you write it?
I actually have 2 books.
Okay.
Well, 2 books. I have
Big
I just
author.
packed it away. It's right here. So, first of all, my manager's usually like, life is life in. Sometimes you just can't, you lose control of it. It just be like that sometimes. Okay, so basically, I'm rare because everything I create is limited edition. I like to be one of a kind, so divine and hard to find, just like my products and vice versa. So the hoodies I have right now, that we only sell around 50 and then we stop and we give you a new design and then you won't be able to get it. The books also work in a similar context. So this is the first book that I've ever produced, and there was 200 copies of this book. And I stopped selling the red copy for half a year. I just wanted to see if there was a supply and demand for the book. And I was actually booked over 35 to 45 times around the city for podcasting, interviewing, poetry presentations, workshops, education, all you name it. We had everything coming off of this. And I didn't know how much my books impacted people when I have prevented almost 3 suicides using my art. Like, I've had people I don't even know come up to me and be like, wow, I've been following your journey in social media, and the poems within your book really helped my life. It really made me feel like I shouldn't go through with the things I really thought I was going to do. And words like that just like hit different for me. And I'm just like, wow, as a person who struggled with mental health at times, and also like just going through it and getting there, and people wouldn't even think, because of the presentation of what social media captivates and it doesn't show both sides of the story, that yeah, words are powerful, your creations are powerful, your art is powerful. And this right here was something I couldn't just let go. So I decided to keep the 200 of the red copies out there. I actually donated a bunch to women's shelters on top of the Youth Without Shelter system of these books, and also like a Black mental health camp called Kinfolk. I donated a bunch of copies to certain organizations and places where I feel like people would benefit and heal with my words. So this year, actually, a couple 2 weeks ago, I just got my fresh batch of limited edition part 2. So I decided to come out with the Golden Girl copy. So this is the second edition. It's the same book, same inside, same everything, but it's yellow, and there's only 250 copies this time. And after this book is done for, you will not be able to get the physical copies. So I'm working on trying to get them in stores right now. I might sell them in Femme Bakery on Weston Road in Lawrence. You can also get them from me, and I do meetups in the malls. So I'll carry like 5 or 10 books, or whoever want to buy and carry their orders with me, and then meet up with them. But also I used to sell them in House of Moses. So I'm going to try to see if I could continue to have multiple locations selling my products. I have a friend who wants to put them in vending machines. So we're trying to see which avenues we could go. But for now, it's just messaging me on my Instagram at exorare or rares.world. They're both the same thing. One's community, one's just hot gal pictures. And yeah, that's me. That's my book. It's more about the book is Rares World is created around the Black Lives Matter movement. So the pages are Black for our ancestors. All my models were Black. My Uber drivers, my catering, my makeup artist, my printer, you name my logo designer. If the Uber wasn't Black, I was canceling it, because Black intergenerational wealth is real. And I produced this book off of a Black grant. So I want to make sure the money given is the money given back. And that's how I can continue to be real at what I do. There are too many fake things in this life. You know, I'm a natural beauty, don't need makeup to be a cutie. And I know myself. So I hope other people recognize that their worth out here and yeah, that's my book. It's my art, my poetry. It reflects around my experiences, and I've been through a lot. So, rich in stories and wisdom.
Wow. Well, you got to big up yourself on that. That is huge. And I love that you put things out as a limited edition. I feel like that's super cool. Very different. That is very, very cool. But you mentioned something really important about social media and how there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that people look on social media and they perceive certain things off of social media and almost live their lives off of it. But what is some important lessons you've learned that you would like to share about social media?
Um, hmm. So I'd say like there's pros and cons to social media. There is the cons of where you can have negativity upon the things you create, the haters and the comments. You can fear putting your stuff out there and having it copied by people. You can fear anything online because you never know whose eyes are watching, right? But the pros of social media is that it's supposed to keep us together. It's supposed to connect people together. It's made to create an hive and a community overall. So for instance, I use social media because I don't have enough time in my schedule and my day to be able to meet up with everyone. So to be able to stay up to date with each other's lives, I just check out the stories and the posts and send a message, and it just creates that connection that we're kind of missing, and we're valuing, and being able to even reconnect with people in your past, your present, your future, and so much more. So yeah, there's power to social media altogether. And I actually have a poem in the book around social media.
Okay. Do you want to share it with us?
I could. My dog's like, let me in. I'm like, no, boo, it's not Pandi River, Pandi Street. He wants to go in and out. No, sorry, baby. Yeah, my dog's my babe. He's actually in the book too. He's right here.
Okay. You had to
I
represent.
shot everything. So I took all the photos
wow.
in this book. I
Okay.
designed it myself. The logo is someone else, but like I put it all together myself. So that's the way the photography skills came intact. So I would shoot all the photos because I can't draw. So instead I would shoot photos reflecting on the poems and like creatively direct them to make it art. So the book's a limited edition because they're art, they're a book of art. And there's not going to be any more like this out there unless I keep creating. And I am, because the sequel's on the way. Ooh, it's going to be called Rare's Growth. And this is Rare's World. And it's going to be the same but different planet. Because, growth is never ending. But as seasons change, I'll understand more. Like, I want to produce it and put it out when I feel like I've kind of grown a little bit more, I'd say.
So how did you publish the book?
Give me 1 second.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you guys are tuning in, thank you so much for watching. We definitely appreciate you guys watching. All right.
Okay, so I found the poem. You gonna say? No, you can't have gum. Okay, sorry about that. Yes. So if you know O Bumbarasclat. Yes. So he was featured in my book during a time where he was also finding himself. So he's super interested in the project. And I was like, hey, do you want to model? He's like, yes, girl. And I was like, yes, let's get it. So I featured him on a poem called Listen. And it goes like this. Listen to your heart. You feel the vibe. If it feels off, don't take it soft. Could it be a warning sign? Listen to it. Just listen. Deep down, you have a void. Reasons why you're paranoid. Thinking your life is a tabloid? Don't get it twisted. Social media plays a big part, but you didn't need it from the start. Know your worth, because this is your world. Your world. The world is yours. Yeah, and that was listening.
Yes, I love that. Love that. But that's real. Definitely, we didn't need it from the start. So yeah, important to know. I like that. All
Yes.
right. All right. So our community is very talented when it comes to the arts. So talk to us about your connections because you were just mentioning that you connected with somebody else from the community. So talk to us about how important it is for not only sharing stories, but connecting in the community around the creatives.
Um, I think creatives in the community kind of inspire each other to be even greater. It's not like a competitive manner. It's more like, oh, I love what you're doing. And it motivates yourself to be like, yeah, let me go get it too. Like I have a couple mentors that actually brought me to where I am today. And these mentors were parts of my inspiration. So I had like I had a social work mentor. I had a business mentor. I had a spiritual mentor. And it just kept going through that process. So yeah, kind of mold you, shape you, bake you, well at the same time.
Yes, and you also like I was interested in trying to figure out what a soulpreneur is because you do have
Oh,
that as one of your like one on your title of like your bio. So I was wondering, tell us what that means and yeah, give us the full scoop on that one there.
all right. So a soulpreneur is someone who's not guided by only money, but also guided by their soul, their mind, body, and soul, and energy in between. So my book is a creation of the mind, body, and soul because I have poured out my poems from my adolescence to my high school, to my middle school, to my current time, and putting them all into one. And I think I'm a soulpreneur because I can make money 7 different ways if I really wanted to, but I'm choosing to only do things that align with my purpose and for why I'm here on this earth. And um, yeah, whatever feels in tune, I will do. And if it doesn't, I will not do it. Like I will not do it for the check. Like you can keep your check. I could make it another day, another time. Like I'm unbothered, I'm unworried because I know what's for me will be for me and what's not shall go. So I've had lots of like high level opportunities. I could have been a cinematographer, which is like the camera people on Netflix and things like that. But I chose to go into social work, which I do now and I love and I enjoy and it's fulfilling. So I continue to do that work. I could have been in the film industry making abundance of quick, fast money. But I chose to go into the route of community collaboration and care because uh, I feel like I'm empathic, like I understand people, I'm a good listener. Like I have the traits of someone who can make a community whole again. I was literally what happened? Oh my god, this guy. I was literally hanging out outside for lunch and I was just trying to eat my lunch, you know. And then I see a bunch of kids that I used to teach and they're like, Miss Rare, are you coming to our class soon? I was like, guys, no, I work somewhere else now. But you guys want to see my office? They're like, we can visit you. You make art. Oh my gosh. And they were like so amazed. So they walked over to my office. They're like, ma'am, I'm coming to visit you all the time. I'm like, good. Because we got free arts programs on the regular. So I'm the program coordinator. What I do is I make things happen. And yeah, I just make things happen within the center, within the area. I ask them, what do you want to learn? What do you want to do? And I make it come to life. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's awesome. That's nice. That's nice that you're able to, see other children that were already impacted by you and then, see the like, the connection that they want to come back, they want to talk to you, they want to stay connected with you. That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah. So growing up, who was an inspiration to you?
Ooh, geez, role models. Okay, to be honest, because I was from a marginalized area, like I didn't have a lot of role models. I just had people I did not want to be like and be around. And ooh, I was like, ooh, that could not be me. I don't want that to be me ever. And then I realized, yeah, I just gotta do better for me in my future because this ain't it. Other than that, it would have to be my first mentor, Leslie Adoro. He's from Central Etobicoke as well, and he would like watch over me and try to like give me resources online where I could get free trainings, free certifications, just kind of set up my future for success regardless of what I want to do.
That's huge. And then, so who inspires you now?
Ooh, Rihanna, Bad Guy Riri for the win. Yeah, I love Rihanna. She's like everything. Being a Black woman millionaire, to have multiple businesses under her belt, to be with A$AP Rocky, to have her beautiful babies, to sing at the Super Bowl, you name it. I'm a I'm a Rihanna fan for life. So from Pondy Replay, I've been there.
All right. And so what keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired?
What keeps me inspired? I would say keeps me inspired. I think it has to be music, being in spaces. Like I spend a lot of my time at like art shows, exhibits, fashion shows, open mics. Yeah, I would have to say everything around me. I think Toronto keeps me inspired. Just being in the city keeps me inspired, because everywhere you go, there's actually always something going on, online, outside, Eventbrite, right, whatever. Like always, if you really wanted to, you could go out every single day.
Yeah, Toronto is definitely a very inspiring city.
Yeah, the street art in the street, like on the walls, like on the trucks, the way people decorate inside their store. Yeah.
So talk to us about how we can stay in touch with you. Like, where do we connect with you if we want to pick up one of your books? How do we do that?
I would say just hit me up on Instagram. I'm an open book, just like the books. Like, yeah. At rares.world, Royal Bankrolls for the merch. Royal Bankrolls stands for Kings and Queens for Generations to Come. Bankrolls because the world revolves around money. And it's a panther, so overall resilience. Wakanda forever. Get back up. Keep doing your thing. Don't let a hater stop you. And just do it, because the world is yours to discover. Take your time to uncover all of it.
All right. Anybody you want to shout out or say what's up to?
Ooh. Shout out to Project Love More. I just wrapped up a Black woman empowerment, community development, arts workshop series. It's real long, but I was mentoring 5 Black women in self-development, and they really enjoyed themselves. They had birthdays. I gave them a shoot. We had an open mic. It was a whole shebang. And yeah, I'm so proud of them. A lot of them weren't even poets, but I kind of trained them in how to even write a poem one of the workshops, and they got to present it at the event. And I just seen so many sides of them that I never got to see within the days of mentorship, that it just blew my mind. And I was like, I think my energy is powerful, and how you use your energy and give your energy to others can really shape them like I was shaped myself. So, I just put a little razzle dazzle in people's lives.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the connection. We definitely were, it was nice to connect with you on Instagram as well. I don't really know much about you, but I seen you there and I was just like, you know what? You seem like you would be an interesting individual to try to get in touch with, to see if we can, chop it up a bit. So I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing your time with us. You do get the last word. So do you have like a motivational or like an inspiring quote that you want to leave with the guests or the listeners for today?
I would say that mindset is everything. Never let a barrier stop you. Jump the hurdle and persevere. Because in the words of Nipsey Hussle, the marathon continues.
The marathon continues. But I like that. Jump the hurdle. Okay. Yep. Just keep it moving. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And we'll definitely keep in touch. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Okay, guys. Well, make sure that you guys check her out on Instagram, Rare the Creative. Don't slip. She's got the book. Okay. She just told you it's a limited edition. You're not going to be able to see this too much longer. She's got the red copy, she's got the gold copy. So make sure you get yourself a copy, okay? I'm sure she'll sign it up for you, you know,
I
all of that
will.
great stuff, right? So make sure she puts your name in the book, all of that stuff. Come on, guys. So make sure you hit her up for the merch as well. She's got merch as well. So you definitely want to connect with her. All right, guys. I appreciate you all for tuning in today. Thank you so much for joining us on What's the 411 today. And we will definitely see you next week, same time, same place. Peace. All right, guys.